At long last, the DJI Mini 5 Pro is finally here. This has been hugely anticipated, especially since this guy, the DJI Mini 4 Pro, was launched over 2 years ago now. People have been wanting the latest version of the DJI Mini drone. Now, I don't actually have the DJI Mini 5 Pro. Even with my subscriber count, I'm not on DJI's Christmas card list, so my review will come in a few days where I've got a chance to play with the drone and test out some of its features and give you a completely unbiased opinion, as of course I've paid for it myself. But in this video, what I'm going to do is bring you all the updates that I have found, as there has been an app update and a firmware update for this DJI RC2. I've been out flying the DJI Mini 4 Pro and the DJI Flip just to see how everything is going, and I found some quite interesting new interface changes on the DJI RC2. Some of them you might like, some of them I'm going to find incredibly annoying, but obviously, as we go through it in the video, we'll discover exactly what those are. So without further ado, let's get into it. So DJI have launched the new Fly at 1.18.0, and if you are on Android, when you open up your DJI Fly app, it's going to show that there is an update available. If you are on iOS, just need to head to the App Store, search for the DJI Fly app, and go ahead and hit update. And if you have the DJI RC2 or RC Pro 2, it's going to pop up, if you've got a Wi-Fi connection, of course, that there is an update available. You're going to go ahead and download that update. Then, of course, what it's going to do is tell us that there is a firmware update for this controller because it needs to support the new DJI Mini 5 Pro. Now, looking for the specifications, it looks like there will be a firmware update for the DJI RC2, the DJI RC Pro 2, and the DJI RC N3. Now, what's concerning me is it does appear that DJI seem to have ended some sort of support for the DJI RC N2 because it wasn't made compatible with the DJI Mavic 4 or indeed the DJI Mini 5 Pro, which is quite upsetting because the DJI RC N2 has got a much bigger battery than the newer up-to-date DJI RC N3, so the N2 is technically the better controller, but it is what it is. So ultimately, you know, if you do have either of those controllers, the N3, the RC2 or the RC Pro 2, you're going to have a firmware update to make that controller compatible with the new DJI Mini 5 Pro. So as you can see on my RC2, that is all installed. Now within this menu we also have a couple of new little features, okay, whether it's mobile phone version or on the RC2. As you can see right here, we've got this model auto update that we can now toggle on or off, and it says when enabled, model update will be automatically downloaded and installed when the network is available. Use of other features will not be affected during this update. So basically, model update, does that mean firmware update, or does it mean that DJI can now independently just push a new model to the DJI Fly app, or it downloads in the background? I'm not too sure. We might have to wait until the next version or the next update to determine exactly what that does. It's quite interesting, but ultimately that is something that I have noticed. Now, if you are using a mobile phone and you hit, for example, Find My Drone, it's now going to prompt you that it needs permission, or indeed it did on my iPhone anyway, to be able to access the feature. Okay, so just something for you to be aware of. If we go onto the connection guide, the main reason for this update, you're going to see the DJI Mini 5 Pro. There it is, sat right there. And honestly, guys, I cannot wait to get my hands on one. And I'm interested to hear whether it's something that you're going to be buying. Okay, so please do let me know in the comment section below. Let's look at some of the interface changes then that I've noticed on the DJI Fly app. Right, so one of the first things you're going to see is whilst it is waiting for satellites, both the satellite and the obstacle avoidance icon are going to keep flashing. Okay, now what you can also do that maybe I've missed this and I wasn't quite aware of this, whilst you've always been able to tap the satellites and the signal, for example, you can now actually just tap this icon right here to easily switch the obstacle avoidance between brake, bypass, or indeed off. Now, one thing I've also noticed that down at the bottom, if we switch into photo mode, we have now got a new feature down here where it says resolution. What we can do is, without opening up the other menu that we used to have to open up before, we can quickly switch between 4:3, 16:9, 12 megapixel or 48, depending on your drone's capabilities. Now, when it comes to taking off, what we can do is we can hold the C1 button on the back of our controller, and if we press and hold that, it will then take off. Now, for safety reasons, if the drone is turned on, on and the controller's turned on and you press and hold C1, it isn't going to do anything, okay? The C1 hold button to take off only works if we've hit that auto takeoff button on the DJI Fly app. So a nice little safety feature there, okay? So just something for you to be aware of. Will you use it? Is then already tapping on the screen and not just pressing and holding the button to auto take off too much of a problem? I don't know. It could well be that, you know, you're holding the controller and holding the drone. For example, if you're trying to take off from a boat, for example, whereas previously what you used to have to do is just push the sticks in and then manually press up and fly it out of your hand. Whereas I suppose this time you can just hold the controller, press that button, and the drone will go ahead and take off. Might make that process a little bit easier, but once again, just something for you to be aware of. However, the single most annoying thing, okay, that I have found, and this will happen every single time. Say, for example, you're out flying your drone and everything is hunky-dory, you're in normal mode, but you want to change your destination and get somewhere quickly. If we switch that into sport mode, listen to this.
Obstacle sensing unavailable. Fly with caution.
And that's going to do that absolutely every single time that you try to put it into sport mode, okay? That's quite annoying. You think, for me, when I'm flying, I'm constantly switching between cine smooth mode, normal mode, and sport mode. And literally every single time, say I'm flying in cine smooth mode, let's get that off screen, and then I click to sport.
Obstacle sensing unavailable. Fly with caution.
That's just kind of annoying. And as it currently stands, I cannot find anywhere in the menu where we can actually switch that voice prompt off. Okay, so just be aware of it. Now, also, if we pop into the menu, okay, and we go into the, we wanted the safety tab. And if we go to turn obstacle avoidance, we need to switch it into normal mode. If we go to have it on brake, we go to switch obstacle avoidance off. Every single time, it's going to come up with this message to say when obstacle avoidance is disabled, aircraft will not be able to avoid obstacles, increasing the risk of collision. Then we've got to click disable, not recommended, or cancel. Now, obviously, I do appreciate that many of you do fly with obstacle avoidance on. It makes sense. Generally, if you're up there, there's not a lot you can hit, so you might as well just keep it on. But ultimately, for those of you that do switch it on or off, or you're flying through tight spaces, every single time, it's just another button to press. Minor first world problem. I don't understand, but just something for you to be aware of. And what I also find a little bit distracting is whilst the satellite icon actually flashes on screen just as another sort of barrier to say, look guys, we don't actually have satellite lock yet, you might not want to take off, okay? And also the obstacle avoidance icon flashes at the same time. So if, say for example, we take our drone outside and we get a satellite lock, that will then stop flashing. However, for some reason, the obstacle avoidance icon next to it continues to flash all of the time, and I just find that a little bit distracting, but hey ho, it is what it is. And not to mention the biggest benefit of this firmware update is, you remember this annoying message when you first turned your RC2 controller on about the SD card inserted? And it is finally being fixed, and when you boot your controller up, that message has now gone. So now I've covered the interface changes on the main flight screen for the DJI Fly app. I'm just going to go through the menu on the DJI Flip and the Mini 4 Pro just to see if there has been any changes or any new features added, okay, or different change of wording, or if something's moved. And as it currently looks, everything seems to be exactly where it was. Now, sometimes after a firmware update, especially for the controller or a DJI Fly app, it's always well worth checking your settings just to make sure they haven't changed from what you set them. A prime example would be making sure that you check your auto return to home altitude just to make sure it's not a little bit lower than what you want it to be to avoid any potential crashes on your way home. But thankfully, most DJI drones do have obstacle avoidance, so hopefully that will kick in during a return to home situation to hopefully keep you out of trouble, but still most certainly worth checking it. So what I'm going to do is just take off with the DJI Flip, actually. I'm just going to demonstrate this feature of taking off with the C1 button. So all I'm going to do is go ahead and tap the icon to take off on the DJI Fly app. And then as you can see, we can press the button, or as I mentioned earlier, we can press and hold this C1. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And as you can see, the DJI Flip has just taken off. But we're not going to continue the flight with the DJI Flip, because if I just open up Drone Companion, you can see that it is a little bit too windy for the DJI Flip. So instead, I'm going to bring you a flight test with with the DJI Mini 4 Pro. But if you've not seen Drone Companion already, it's a fantastic service. Basically, it is a paid subscription, but ultimately it's only £1 more than what most people pay for UAV forecast, and you just get a whole bunch more. Of course, you get accurate weather forecasts. You even get the wind direction indicator, so you can see exactly what direction the wind is coming from. You get a full forecast, and what no other drone app offers is personalized settings to your individual drone. And as you can see, the new DJI Mini 5 Pro is supported already. So all you need to do is click the Get Settings, hit DJI Mini 5 Pro, put in what level of experience you have, where you want to fly, what you're trying to capture, and it will give you the best settings for the DJI Fly app and for you to set to ensure that you get the most out of your drone. Now, one of the best features, the fact that we selected we're flying indoors, it even tells you to set your return to home behavior to hover to basically avoid you potentially losing your signal indoors and the drone trying to ascend into a potential ceiling or light fitting. So really, this is a great app that really has thought of everything, and you get a 24-hour free trial, and I will leave a link to that in the video description. But taking a flight out then with the DJI Mini 4 Pro, like I've already mentioned, the flight is right on the limits for the wind, so it's not long before we're going to get some strong wind warning. So we're going to try a drone quick shot. This is by far my favourite because you can use it to do a nice landscape reveal shot by selecting an object below the horizon, and as the drone flies backwards, what it does is it raises the gimbal, which basically reveals the landscape, and I think that's just absolutely lovely. Now that's completed, and it's just going to make its way back to its original starting position, which, as you can see, it's struggling to do a little bit because that is exactly the direction that the wind is coming from. So let's just try a little point of interest. Of course, we want to fly quite high because we are in a residential area. We don't want to bother anybody, so just try a simple point of interest by selecting a complete random object such as this tree, and as you can see, the drone is flying to the left, which is exactly the direction we chose, so that's always good, but it is doing it quite slowly because it is so windy and we are sort of heading into the wind right there. But ultimately, you know, what is great about this DJI Mini 4 Pro is it's so good in the wind, and I can't wait to see how the DJI Mini 5 Pro does in the wind as well. So what we're going to do, just to sort of wrap up this, we're just going to take the drone out for a few hundred meters, and we're going to execute a return to home. Now for this one, I do have the drone set to optimal because it's got obstacle avoidance sensors. If you don't know the difference, preset, it will rise to an altitude, whereas optimal, it'll stick at its current altitude and use its sensors, which of course is what it's doing right now. And what I would always say, and I say this on every update video that I do, use return to home as a safety tool, but of course don't trust it completely. I would always suggest once it's back in sight or just above you, cancel that and land the drone manually. So there we go, that was a flight test with the DJI Mini 4 Pro, going through the menus with the Mini 4 Pro and the Flip, and a full review of the new features that I found of the DJI Fly, and of course, who's excited for the new DJI Mini 5 Pro. But don't worry, I'm not the type of person, once the new drone comes out, to chuck the old one in the bin. Oh no, I'm going to be using a full range of drones, such as the DJI Flip and the Mini 4 Pro, in comparisons against the Mini 5, to give you all the knowledge that you could possibly need to make that buying decision as to what drone is right for you. So if you found this video useful, please do give it a big thumbs up. It tells the YouTube algorithm more people just like you might want to watch my content. Subscribe if you're awesome, and until next time, thank you very much for watching. See you again soon.